Hey, welcome to another Engineering Design in Omniverse. We have a special guest today. Um, Chitoku is with us, and Chitoku. So last week, if you recall, we talked about um, we've talked about this really cool platform called JetRacer that was built on top of the NVIDIA Nano, or sorry, the Jetson Nano. And the cool thing about JetRacer is it's this completely kind of set platform with a complete bill of materials. Anyone can build it, and then you can have your own Jetson Nano powered remote control car all ready to go. So that's where. And so I actually reached out to Chitoku and asked if he'd be on our live stream, and he is going to join us today and talk to us a little bit about what he's done with the JetRacer and with a few other projects. It turns out he was part of JetBot as well. So he'll talk to us about that too. And so I'm really excited to have him. And we want to talk about a few really interesting topics about like how did he train it? Because he actually got it to go around a track, right? How did he train it? Because he didn't have access to Isaac Sim when he did that. He did it some other way. And we'll talk about a few projects and what was behind it. And I think he's about ready to join. So let's bring him on and let's get to know him, his background, and start learning about what's behind the JetRacer and the JetBot. So here we go. Hi, Chitoku. How's it going?
Hi, Eric. Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. And so first, would you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your
Mhm.
background?
Sure. Yeah. So, actually, this month is my 10th anniversary being at NVIDIA. So, I've been with NVIDIA for quite some time. I moved to the headquarters here about 6 years ago and joined this NVIDIA Jetson product marketing group. So I've been doing this tech marketing position job for quite some time, creating all the demonstration project that is to feature what you can do on our Jetson platform and help our customers. Sometimes they like to do the POC, so I help such customer get going, and then all the other kind of miscellaneous stuff. Yes, like Eric mentioned, I worked on JetBot and JetRacer as well when we launched Jetson Nano Developer Kit back in 2019. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to share all the story with you all. Yeah, I was really happy to know that there's this effort going to train our JetRacer in Omniverse. So I'd like to learn more about it.
Yeah. So now before JetRacer came JetBot, is that right?
That's right. That's right.
So would you tell us the story behind the JetBot and
Right.
why you
Yeah.
came up with that?
So it was 2014 when Jensen Fang, our CEO, announced Jetson, our embedded platform, to the world. Back then, AI was hardly a thing. It was seen as like a platform with somehow GPU on it. People really don't know what to make use of it. But by the time in 2019 when we launched Jetson Nano, there was already a community of Jetson users. But it was rather limited to industry and mainly researchers. And perhaps some students because it was priced rather high back then. But we decided to launch Jetson Nano for all kind of people, including like high school students. We wanted to democratize the AI and then like really show to the world what you can now do with the AI. If you have a platform that can bring the AI that's training your data center or workstation to the real life in your hand. So Jetson Nano was born. Back then it was priced at $99. A lot of people compare this against Raspberry Pi because Of course, both run Debian derived OS, runs Python and all the other software suite. It can connect to a camera. So what's the difference, right? Typically, our approach.
So I just want to speak out to the community. I'm not getting any comments or questions for Chitoku. So please, those of you who are watching, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your comments. So please, absolutely, let us know you're there, okay? And start bringing in those questions. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Chitoku.
It's good. It's good. So yeah. So rather than talking about all the small detail of our hardware, CPU frequency, GPU frequency, we wanted to come out with an actual project, something tangible that like really shows what you can do with the AI on board, right? So
and that's the main. Is that kind of the part? I mean, part of the main difference is that the Jetson Nano it really can support AI, whereas other kind of entry level controllers are not as good at that.
Right. Would like to point out that our Jetson platform has NVIDIA GPU on it and can run CUDA as it is. That's a very big difference. If you're working on some other embedded platform, even that is ARM-based one, if you want to run some kind of deep learning model, you'd need to resort to some kind of hacks to like somehow make use of the GPU, their proprietary GPU hardware to somehow get acceleration, or oftentimes you don't get much acceleration, so you need to resort to some kind of accelerator. You may plug a USB stick onto a USB, but then all the communication overhead happens, so you don't quite get all the performance, and then you'd end up spending so much time just to somehow get the AI model working on your embedded platform. Right. Whereas on Jetson Universe, you just like bring your CUDA code and it would just run on our platform. NVIDIA have provided all the NVIDIA driver or GPU driver that is universal across desktop and then mobile or like this embedded platform. So the luxury is that TensorFlow, PyTorch, and all kind of deep learning framework would just run. So it was pretty big. So especially like those people who are familiar with TensorFlow, PyTorch, they love our platform because what they have already made, demonstrated on PC, can just run on our platform.
Just like direct port without any other.
Right.
Just throw it on there. That's
right.
We're getting some really interesting. So first of all, I just wanted to shout out to Joseph, who's watching from Nigeria. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know what time it is in Nigeria right now. So welcome to the live stream. It's so good to have you. Yeah. And we've got a few of our regulars who are super interested in this project. And really great questions coming from, well, just a few shout outs. Jenny Skew's here, just excited about JetRacer. And Zia Ideas is here. Thank you so much for joining us. And okay, so some really interesting. Are you familiar with the F110th platform?
Yeah, I do. I'm familiar with it. Yes.
So one thing, we were looking at different platforms we could use, and I think the F110th platforms uses a Xavier board rather than a Nano. Is that right, Papa Chuck? And he's asking, like, what kind of, like, when might you want to use a Nano versus a higher powered Jetson, a higher powered Jetson Edge device?
Can
you give us some guidance there?
Sure. So, yeah, we are familiar with the F110 folks. It's led by people at UPenn and other universities. It originally came out with our Jetson TX2 developer kit. So that's even before Jetson Nano. Hence, it was like little, even on a larger platform vehicle, but it got all kinds of sensors, including LiDAR. So especially for those people who really want to do all the research around autonomous cars, autonomous vehicles, that's a decent platform to use. So, and then it have evolved over time, and it now have a Xavier generation Jetson. So yeah, I know the community is also very strong. So
So that was
they have
an
like a
earlier.
different sort of target, I'd say.
So that developer kit actually came with a LiDAR sensor. Is that right?
No. F-110s, my understanding of their standard vehicle is that it has a LiDAR, or it has the capability of having a LiDAR on it.
Got it.
Right.
And I've actually been wondering myself, could a Jetson Nano support a LiDAR sensor? Or
it can. I mean, so we actually thought about it, really. My very initial version actually had a LiDAR sort of platform on it, on the RC car. But at the time of us when we decided to make JetBot, we wanted to make this cheap, so that like every classroom would have JetBot and can get their hands on AI.
right.
We wanted to really democratize the AI. We had this dream of having all the high school students learn AI through our offering. So part of the objective was to make this sub $250. And it kind of went well with our theme. We wanted to show what you can do with, say, big brain on this with only one sensor. So
just a camera. Yeah.
Right. So
just an
it was
RGB
just a camera.
Yeah.
If you have a big brain, even with one camera, you can tell a lot, just like how you'd be able to do. And that's what we wanted to demonstrate, rather than like populating with arrays of sensors and then trying to show the value of each sensor.
Because that's your message. That's your core message, is that with that big brain, it doesn't you can do so much more with even fewer sensors.
Right.
Or simpler sensors. Yeah.
Right. So there was such artificial sort of limitation that we created for us. Hence, it doesn't have any LiDAR. It doesn't have ultrasonic range detector. It only have an RGB camera on top.
Right.
But that went well with keeping the price range low, and it just lives in its own space.
And it sounds like, the 2 gigabyte versus the 4 gigabyte Nano versus the Xavier versus the whatever. Really, it sounds like it boils down to how big is your AI model.
That's right. That's right.
And maybe how many sensors you want to connect to it.
Well, yeah, eventually that matters as well. So we came up with JetRacer with Jetson Nano, the original version with 4 gigabyte RAM. We later, in 2020, came out with Jetson Nano 2 gigabyte model. And we needed to do a lot of work to prove that it can also run on the 2 gigabyte model. But quite honestly, it's really tough. There is no much margin. So we see a lot of people want to develop upon JetRacer. They want to train their own model, of course. They want to experiment with a little bigger size model. So all those would require additional power, right?
So more than the 2 gigabytes or more than the 4 gigabytes?
More than 4 gigabyte even.
Got it.
Even.
Oh, okay.
So we see, especially in the JetRacer community, we see a lot of people upgraded the computer to Jetson Xavier NX developer kit. There are actually many people have done that, and then we've been getting requests to show the official sort of Xavier NX version of JetRacer. But yeah, I never got to do that. But already so many people have done it. So yeah.
So right. So let me see here. Does that next level up of device, does that next Jetson, does it have the same kind of form? Does it have the same mounting
Right. So I
dimensions?
know
You
some
just like
people
do
are
a
curious here, like in Janisuk 7, asking about our latest Jetson All-in Nano developer kit.
yeah.
So, right, it was 2 months ago we launched it. It's been popular. And we've been wondering if we need to show JetRacer and JetBot with the new developer kit, but it got much more powerful than our original Jetson Nano. Jetson All-in Nano is like more than 20 times faster than
Oh, really?
Jetson Nano when it comes to the AI performance. So if you like precisely measure in the performance.
So that would probably be big enough to support a reinforcement learning, because I think we're really so maybe we should step back a little bit and let me let's scan through these questions. See,
Sure.
I think it's mostly discussion. It looks like they're answering each other's questions.
Mhm.
And just to give you a note, to just let you know, I think we're starting with this JetRacer project, but I think we've got people who are interested in drones or fixed wing autonomous projects, fixed wing aircraft autonomous projects. We've got people who, this is like our first robot pipeline. And I think we're really interested in certainly synthetic data. So training these robots within Isaac Sim. And I think a lot of us are interested in reinforcement learning in particular. And so maybe let's step back and talk about JetBot and that first experience. And then Chitoku showed me we've chatted a little bit already. And so I know he's got some really cool stories to share with JetRacer and how that came about. And so let's take a step back and what was your first release of JetBot?
Right. So it was 2019, March of 2019, we launched Jetson Nano Developer Kit. And then together with it, we launched and open sourced our JetBot project. We had a GTC, GPU Technology Conference, 2019 in San Jose. So in the convention center, we had a big exhibition hall. There we had a little booth that is like really showing our JetBot working. Like, we had like 10 of them like running on the table. It was like doing collision avoidance dance all
Yeah, I saw
together.
that. Here, let me see if I can find that video and pull that up. Let me see. Jetbot.org, I think, has the video on it, right?
Oh yeah.
I saw that. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Right here. It's this little. It's a little small, but look at these things go. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Just a second. Here we go. So, and I'm going to share this link onto the chat here. And so here it is. It's this little GIF here. You can see this. They put these JetBots onto the table, and they just avoid each other. They avoid the edge. It makes me kind of cringe because I feel like at any moment, one of these is going to fall off the table.
Right.
They've got it following a Lego track right here. So cool. I love it.
Yeah, we used to play this trick, like, start demonstrating our JetBot to the people in front of, in person. And we explain everything. We leave it on the table. It keeps going, but pretend like we are like so devoted in talking. And the other person noticed that the robot is about to fall, and they go panic. Oh, but like you would make a quick turn and then go around. Make a smart move. Yeah, we used to do that. But there were like 3 of other demonstration we got to do at the show floor, and everybody loved it. So many people came to us, asked us, where can we get the kit? Because I want to build this. I want to build this with my son. that kind of
Yeah.
thing. We heard a lot. Back then, so we came out with this DIY version of JetBot. So the chassis is 3D printed. All those parts you purchase from other distributor. We like to use Adafruit components because they come with Python libraries. So this is DIY, everything you purchase from different sources and you hand assemble together.
Right.
But we open sourced even the hardware composition of this, project. So naturally, bunch of company naturally just like spun up to create their commercially available JetBot kit. One of them is this one. It's called WaveShare JetBot, and this one you can purchase on Amazon, still at around like $120. So originally we wanted to like make JetBot, the whole JetBot, under $250 together with the just a nano developer kit. So yeah, even if you add 99 back then on their price, it was well below 250. So I really like what they did. So such kind of commercially available kits are already everywhere. So we talked about those as well on jetbot.org.
And there are a whole bunch of these. If I go onto Amazon or just on the internet, there are a whole bunch of these kits based on the Jetson Nano.
Right. Oftentimes, those universities would purchase like 50 or like 100 of them and, using across them. That's what we've been seeing. Right. But yeah, so JetBot took off. And we were quite happy with that. We got to like demonstrate all the different demo. But there was one thing we didn't get to like really show the benefit of that is the benefit of TensorRT, our optimization framework of our AI model, so that it would run even faster especially on an embedded platform. JetBot doesn't go that much fast. It is, after all, to operate on a table or very small confined space. So naturally, we started like seeing possibility of putting this on an even faster robot, perhaps Ackerman style, robot. So at that time, I had already worked on some RC platforms. So we started sort of experimenting.
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, we got invited to this community called DIY Robocars. They are active up in Oakland or near Berkeley. And they are a group of enthusiasts. They meet every quarter, and they have a fixed, permanently set up course in one of their maker hub. And they race each other. They bring their own AI car. At that time, mostly donkey cars with Raspberry Pi, and then race against each other on the course. We got invited, give a talk on Jetson Nano Developer Kit, and also show JetBot. They loved it. And then the organizer there, Chris Anderson, he's a famous journalist who wrote Maker, Free, all kinds of bestseller books, and he's also an entrepreneur. He's such a character. He sort of challenged us. Oh, do you want to race your little bot on our course? Try, right? He was like that. And we are like, it might be a little too tiny. I know we can do the road following, so it's certainly accomplishable, but it's just not the right scale.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, by the way, the next race, Amazon team will show up. You can race against Amazon team. And then this Amazon team means that it's JetRacer. If you know JetRacer, Amazon have spent so much money on making their JetRacer available and promo JetRacer. They even got world tour going and make a TV show out of it. Whereas we are like just 3 engineers in the corner of NVIDIA, just small team. We got panicked. We need to get serious. We cannot be beaten by a giant company. And so we try to put together and then something that can go fast. We even went to that course beforehand so that we can collect some data and test. One time, one of us sort of got a little too confident and then tuned the knob little wildly, went too fast, hit the wall, front wheel came off, couple days before the actual race. Yeah,
no.
we got to find a local RC shop and they had the exact model, so we managed that, and we actually won the next race. Turns out the other company didn't show up, but one of the
that always helps.
Yeah, but one of the race, we actually placed in the first. So yeah, we got to show JetRacer to the world first time at the competition. So that's how JetRacer was born. It spun out of JetBot, but through the interesting interaction with the community, JetRacer was born.
Wow, that's so cool. And do we have any videos of the JetRacer in action? I think there was one on that same jetbot.org.
Yeah, or if you go to the GitHub repository of JetRacer, there may be one.
Maybe one I can make a little bigger, huh? Let's see. JetRacer GitHub right here. Yeah, so here's here we go. Here's this really cool animated GIF with, is that your son?
Yes, actually, yes.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was. We needed to come into our building on the weekend because those big meeting room is occupied oftentimes.
Yeah.
And first thing we need to do on Friday night is to lay out the course with tape, right?
And I'm going to repost that, Zia, so it goes to YouTube as well. Okay. Here's the link to the repository. And for those of you who haven't looked at this yet, there are two. There's a 1/18th scale robot, and there's a 1/10th scale JetRacer. He has included a bill of materials for each of them. So if you want to build it yourself, you can. The nice thing about that is you can look around in your local classifieds, and you might be able to find a TT02 car at a discounted price, or RC controller at a discounted price. I think you might be able to get scrappy and get a little bit better price on it. But this is what, I couldn't believe this. Let me go. Let's look at the here you go. Here on Amazon, you can buy the 1/18th scale JetRacer, and this includes, this is out of the box, just shows up at your house, and that includes the Nano developer kit right there. So you can just buy one. And then, great question. Which scale does Chitoku have there in hand?
Right. So this one is 1/10 scale. This is based on Tamiya TT02.
Yeah.
And what Eric wanted to show on Amazon, maybe that kit from
I didn't show it.
WebShare. Yeah.
Sorry. I wasn't sharing my screen that whole time. Oh, heavens. I keep doing that.
This one is 1/18 scale.
Yeah. And you can buy this right out of the box. And let me go back. I got to go back to the GitHub repo.
Sorry, I should have commented on that.
No, that's okay. Where is that video?
Oh, yeah. Is that
right here? Here we go. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Here you can see they set the track up at NVIDIA headquarters, and they're having a drive on the track.
Yeah.
And it's pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Right. Yeah, that was our big meeting room that we could only use during the weekend. So every Sunday night, we are like crying because we need to tear those down.
Oh, you have to pull the tape up too and retape
Right,
it every
right,
weekend?
right.
Oh,
Because the other one, would start using next morning, right, on
oh
Monday
shit.
morning. But we later actually got to like really build sort of like semi-permanent course out on the carpet seats. Um, so yeah, uh, we back in 2020, we actually had that course laid out actually in this hall of Endeavor building of NVIDIA. And we had like a couple of employee gather and then like race on that track. So it
Oh,
was
that's
it was
cool.
pretty fun. Yeah.
That's cool. So, man, so now I'm thinking about, let's just look up the Jetson Orin, right? So that's the one you're talking about. That's
Jetson,
maybe your latest.
yeah, Ori Nano developer kit.
That's not it, is it? Jetson Orin. Here we go. Is this the developer kit here?
Yeah, can you show me the screen?
Oh yes, thank you. Man, I'm struggling. Usually I just have my screen up the whole time. So here's
Yes,
the Orin
that's
developer
Jetson
kit.
Ori Nano developer kit just came out 1 or 2 months ago.
Oh,
Yeah, it is available almost around the world. So this form factor is exactly the same as Jetson Xavier NX developer kit, and Xavier NX developer kit is almost the same size of Jetson Nano. In fact, if you remove the plastic sort of shell or the bottom plate, that's exactly the same size and then same through hole connector mount holes. So it's pretty easy
so
to
if
sort of hop this on.
if someone got one of these Orins,
Mhm. Uh,
you say so you have to you have to remove the plastic to get it to mount onto the same.
if you already have, yeah, if you have
If
like
I had a
your,
JetRacer, right?
if you already have a JetRacer, then since the mount points are built for Jetson Nano, oftentimes you need to remove the bottom plastic shell. However, recently when I come out with Xavier NX developer kit or any project with that, what I'd like to do is to use a frame or like bracket to sort of clamp everything together down onto whatever the platform. So you don't need to
Yeah.
remove the plastic shell around it.
So like so the developer kit, does it come with an adapter bracket?
No, it doesn't. But I have created one, designed one, and made it available. Turns out on iRobot Create 3 GitHub page. It's a totally different robot kit for research. iRobot, they are known for vacuum cleaner, but they also offer what they call create robot, educational robot. So they take out all the guts of the vacuuming thing and make a room in and on top of that platform. So researchers have been using their platform to experiment, especially with ROS and the ROS 2 right now. I built the bracket for that one. So things like that, the bracket like that can accommodate both Xavier NX and just an already nano developer kit. And if you have a matching hole underneath, then you can clamp it down. There are many ways. You don't need to like really use that, but yeah, I'm just showing an example.
Yeah. And just to be so clear, Zia is asking, so we can mount Orin to a 1/10 scale, and I think the answer is definitely yes.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah. People have
definitely.
demonstrated it. Yeah.
And in fact, he was saying, if you heard, that if you remove the plastic kind of cowling from the Orin, then it would actually has the same mounting holes.
Right.
That said, I don't think we're recommending that people remove the plastic. I think we're recommending that they use a plastic adapter bracket instead. And
Right.
he's got a design for that. Do we have a link to where people can get that? Or maybe we could share it on the Discord community. So
Right.
we can coordinate that afterwards. Let me, for those of you joining us, I'm going to go ahead and share a link to our Discord, an invite to Discord. Let me just, let's see, where is that link? I've got a link here. I'm going to share so you can join our Discord community. And there is a JetRacer project channel on Discord where you can join us as we work on this, right? And I'm going to go ahead and get that STL for the adapter bracket from Chitoku, and I will share that on Discord for those of you who join us there. That's right. And yeah, hashtag JetRacer is the channel. And so let's talk about the training of the JetBot and the JetRacer. And I asked how those were trained, and he said, because a lot of us are interested in reinforcement learning. That's the big thing we can do in Omniverse. So how did you train the JetBot and the JetRacer? It was not with reinforcement learning. Is that right?
That's right. It's not reinforcement learning. This is still good old supervised learning. So what it is so the way you go through the training process is that you place your JetRacer in with camera properly up. You place JetRacer on any part of the truck. You see the live camera feed up on your laptop, and you click one point where you believe the car eventually should go. So it's like teaching your robot where it should go based on the image that is currently presented. So you do this live. So oftentimes you hold your laptop in your hand, you kick your JetRacer to like manually go through each part of the track. You want to spend more time in the tight corner or hairpin, or those tricky places. You really need to be mindful of the course taking. Like you want to do out in out, then you kind of need to have such kind of racer mindset to like take the right path. So you transfer that kind of knowledge through the clicking on the computer. That's how you go through the training or like data collection phase.
Right.
The training is done on Jetson Nano even, can be done on Jetson Nano. Oftentimes that's okay.
Well, and it seems like in Omniverse, even if we didn't get all the way to reinforced learning, we could really speed up that process with synthetic data. So if we had that track, what we could use Replicator to just move the car or even just drive it through the course and then just take snapshots that are automatically annotated as we go.
That's certainly a possibility. Yeah, that would be quite exciting because it's not for one course, right? You could potentially have it adapt to many different courses.
Yeah. So
what
that's
would be like really amazing is that you train that in Omniverse, train a model just through that, and put that model on an actual platform on a hardware, and then make it go. And if that can run, that's something. It's a real sim to real story, and that'd be so cool.
That would be so cool. Well, and I always think, I think that one of my interesting stories would be to basically put some self-driving hardware onto an like a full-size vehicle or like a go-kart, and then use even supervised learning like this with synthetic data to train it to run through an autocross course, Man, that'd be cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'm a dreamer though. Let's start with getting the JetRacer going. going in Omniverse, because one thing we've run into is I've brought it, the current JetRacer asset is not functioning in Omniverse. And so I think one thing we're going to try to do is develop a design pipeline to start with some CAD models, bring them into Omniverse, rig those up with physics, get some kind of, and I don't, some of this probably already exists, but get an emulator going, get a nano emulator going within Omniverse so that it's a really, because I'm not sure how you deploy your model from training it in Omniverse to deploying it, or from training it into Isaac Sim to deploying it to Nano. I don't know how that pipeline works today. I'm guessing there's already something out there, but I have a lot of questions because we're just getting started here,
Right. Yeah, there may be even more streamlined way, but back then when we were also like dreaming about it, the naive approach would be to just have Isaac Simulator to Omniverse to generate a bunch of image. And then you take that and totally be on the original JetRacer world, have it trained somehow in the very same manner so that the outcome would be the same model. Then that's for sure it can be deployable, right?
Yeah, because that would, especially where we're talking about the 2 GB versus the 4 GB versus the Orin, which versus there's the Xavier versus there's another enterprise grade Jetson device, and it would be nice. It would sure be nice if we could essentially, know for sure if our model is going to work on the device that we have without purchasing the device, right? Or if we could,
yeah. Another thing we want to be mindful is the camera property. It just have some characteristic, right? Not a fisheye, but we like to use a pretty wide field of view.
Right.
We'd also like to have another higher point from the ground, so that you just see far away in decent resolution.
Right.
Things like that, of course, should be modeled in Omniverse, and I know all the camera property you can tweak. So we just need to get that right, so that what it sees in Omniverse is the same as what the robot actually sees in the real world.
Yeah, man. I'm just thinking about what our community could write as far as extensions go, and I think there's a lot, right? I mean, someone could write a nano emulator if we don't already have one in.
Right. Okay, talking
Isaac.
about that
Someone
aspect.
could write an annotator. I think even if I had the camera turned on for the JetRacer, it would be amazing if there was an annotator, so you could pick the objects you want annotated, and if it would annotate those objects in your view, so that you could just get your Xbox or your gamepad and drive the car around the track and just every frame just take shots. And so then you could just drive the car on the track and it would be taking shots as you go and generating as much annotated data as you want with just playing with the car in the
That'd
scene.
be fun. That would be fun, right? It's almost like you just playing a race game, but that is generating your, all the data for teaching the neural network. That would be cool. Actually, the community have tried that pattern. Some people are successful in that, but oftentimes what people say is that, oh, I'm actually not the good racing RC driver in the first place. That's my model cannot be trained well. So another group, or the other approach, I'm not saying that's a good but I actually like to do that.
Sure.
I like to race in the game. But other approach is you generate the most ideal path that robot can take at certain speed, or it even has a capability of adjusting the speed, so it can come up with an optimal route or path, right? And then You don't need to actually do the hand annotate. You can just calculate which point it should point to based on the trajectory, right?
Right.
So that would take out the lengthy process of manual labeling even. You just need to come up with an algorithm to generate the optimal path based on whatever the track you are presented.
Oh, that's
Well,
interesting.
that itself is another challenge, but it
Yeah.
opens up a whole possibility.
Or the next step up might be a reinforced learning where we just have, maybe we start with a base model that can just stay within the bounds, right? And then we refine that model using reinforced learning to go fast within those bounds, or to, I don't know what. It's such, there's so much interesting work to be done, And honestly, that's one thing I like about the JetRacer. The JetBot, I think, is, a lower price point, and there's so many interesting tasks you can do. But I just love the high speed tasks. It adds such a fun element to the development.
It'd be so fun, and it's going to be such a fantastic community project.
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of assets the community can use?
What kind of what?
Asset, 3D asset, because
any CAD assets.
CAD assets, right?
Okay. We can use OBJ, FBX, so we can use like Blender type assets. We can use CAD assets. Omniverse is very flexible in just about any 3D asset, STL, laser scan, point cloud.
Right.
In fact, there's there's so much cool stuff. This is one thing that let me see if I can find it really quick. I just got to share this. You're going to love this, Chitoku. I was just talking to my buddy in NVIDIA Research, and he shared this link with me. Where is it? Oh, where is it? Oh, right here. I think maybe this is it. No, shoot. I've got to share this link here. Oh man. Oh, I know where it was. Just a minute. Here we go. Oh, I can't share that. I can't share it. It's not out yet. Sorry. Almost shared it. Can't share it. There's something really cool coming out that I can't share, that I know about, that would be really fun to talk about right now, but we'll just have to wait.
Just need to wait.
So yeah, it's coming out soon. So once it's out, I'll share it, and it's kind of applies in this area. So.
I got an idea, and it looks like some people on the chat also have an idea.
Oh yeah, what's this? Oh, lots of, yeah. Well, going through some of the comments. So reinforced learning wouldn't calculate the optimal path per se, but what you could do is, if you had one that could already stay in the bounds, I would think would be a good place to start. You could teach it to go around faster and faster. So basically, you just put one down, and then you have it go around the track, and the faster it goes, the more it's rewarded. And over time, that it would just learn how to drive fast. And where that gets really cool is if you have a variety of tracks, so not just one track, then you could, in theory, teach a robot car to just drive fast, just by what it sees and the track that it sees. And so to actually kind of just know how to drive. Yeah. So it would essentially learn that optimal path by reinforcement learning, not because you're giving it the actual path, which is such a cool concept, but it is really not so easy in reality, I'm sure. And then let's see. Yeah, and by the way, Isaac Jim is an Omniverse tool for reinforcement learning. And let's see what else we got. Yeah, just a lot of really interesting comments. Yeah. Man, great. We've got 10 minutes left. I want to go ahead and just right now, we'll field more questions, but I just want to thank you so much for coming. So, yeah, thank you for coming on our live stream. And it's been so great to hear this history of the Jetson Nano dev kits, to hear the history of the JetBot and the JetRacer, and to hear what's behind that. I think you've given us a huge leap forward in how we understand how these work. And wow, it's really, I don't know, it's been great. Thank you.
No, thank you so much for inviting me to this show. I really enjoy, sharing all the stories and explore the possibility with you all, right? I think it's going to be a fantastic project and effort to bring this to the first in the Isaac, Omniverse simulator, and then bring it back to the real life. That would be that would be exciting. Thank you so much for letting me come here.
Yeah, and I would just love, I'm guessing, first of all, someone made a comment above. To be honest, it was a bit of a trolly comment, but I think it brought to mind, he said he's wondering if JetRacer or if Nano is even supported, and I'm sure it is. Is there a forum? Where can our people go to get support with their Jetson Nano if they're having trouble using it?
So the best place would be our NVIDIA forum. NVIDIA has a big forum for all kind of product, but turns out our Jetson board, the forum board, is probably the most active one.
So if you just go to this typical NVIDIA forum, there are Jetson boards that are very active. Okay, right. Cool.
Yeah, search Jetson forum or NVIDIA Jetson forum, and you will be taken to the NVIDIA one. We have dedicated team monitoring all the comments and try to address all the questions as soon as possible. So that's the best place to share your issues and get those resolved as soon as possible. We also have one subboard that is for people to show off their cool project that they'd like to show. And I encourage everybody to, share your great project once that's at some point. And
and I would love, I think I'll probably hop on there today and invite your Jetson community to join us on Discord, where we can work together. Those people who already know Jetson devices, we can combine with people who are more familiar with Omniverse. I think that would be a great cross-pollination.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, get some synergy going.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's great. And I had let's see. Somebody had a question. Okay, Zia. So let's plot, right? Let's talk about where we go from here. So Zia asks, what is the current state of the art for JetRacer as it stands today? Well, the physical JetRacer is in great shape, right? You can go, you can pull down Chitoku's bill of materials and you can build one. I would say there has not been a lot of attention given to the JetRacer within Omniverse. So the one that is in there is the basic physics model, car model, and I think it was done on a much earlier version of Omniverse. It's probably before Isaac Sim was even out, and it really isn't working. So I would say let's start from scratch. Let's build a new JetRacer asset that we can use within Omniverse, and we can talk about this more. Let's talk about it more on the Discord channel. But I'm thinking, two routes is we could use the physics default car model out of the box, and we can get going and working on Omniverse stuff really quick that way. Or like Papa Chuck mentioned, we can start to work on that pipeline. We can go ahead and do a basic CAD. It doesn't have to be a very high fidelity model, but we could do a basic suspension geometry layout of the TT02 in CAD, and we can import that into Omniverse. and build and actually rig it up with the custom joints and physics so that it matches the suspension and matches the physics a little more closely. And I love CAD, so I would lean towards that. But let's have that discussion on Discord, and let's figure out what we want to do. I think we've got to go ahead and remake. I would say remake the JetRacer for Omniverse. That's the current state there. And yeah. And I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around the Nano 4 gigabyte. It can handle fairly large sized models, fairly large sized supervised learning models. Is that right?
So our favorite go-to model was Resonate 18 back then. So yes, it's small enough to run on Jetson Nano, and it can handle 30 FPS. So that was okay.
What would be your go-to model today?
So the price would go up. So it depends what the budget or like the level that you are tackling. But Ori Nano would be a perfect board to explore all the latest models. So
in other words, with the Nano 4 gigabyte, there are a lot of models you could run. But there are a few of the latest and greatest models that would be a little bit too big for it. Is that right?
Yes. When I talk about the size, it's mostly how much RAM it requires, or system memory, or eventually transferred to the GPU memory. So anyway, it's a footprint of the model. And then naturally, those models evolved and have more parameters to be tuned. So it just grows. Ori Nano, or Xavier NX even have 8 gigabyte of RAM. So that's actually the quite an advantage. Yeah.
So the Xavier has 8 gigabytes of RAM. Does the Orin also have 8 gigabytes of RAM?
Right. They both have 8 gigabyte RAM.
But the Orin can do more more flops or something, or more.
Right. It is based on the latest Orin Jetson Orin chip. So it is much more powerful in terms of AI performance. We probably have some benchmark result, but it's quite a jump, 40 times or even more than the original Nano. But
so the Orin is. So are you saying that Orin is higher performance than the Xavier?
Yes. So,
but the Xavier, what's the price of this? I'm looking wildly different prices when I look at the Xavier, from $100 to $1,500.
So Jetson Xavier NX developer kit is priced at $399. So
got it.
During the semiconductor shortage, the price in the market went up and we went crazy. Right. But it should be the base. And Ori Nano developer kit is priced at $499. So it's just like that. Nano $449, Xavier NX, and Ori Nano. Yeah.
Got it. That's not as actually as. Because when I looked at the Orin, I see. There's different levels of Orin. There's also the AGX Orin that's maybe $1,000.
Right. The big box cube AGX Orin developer kit. That's more than $1,000.
Well, the Orin Nano price, that's not as bad. I thought when I was Googling, it was coming in at like $1,500, $1,800, and so I was like, that's a big. It's a big step up in cost.
Too big, right?
No, I can. 500. 3 times the price for 8 times the performance. It is certainly more money, but it's a good. That seems like a good value, right?
Right. And then we know that because many people have already jumped onto Xavier NX for their JetRacer platform. It turns out those people eventually or naturally spend more money on the chassis itself, and every once in a while they crash so that they build a new car every once in a while. So yeah, they
Oh dear.
naturally gravitated towards
One,
higher computation too.
I have one last question that is such a good one. So if we're trying to run a YOLO
Mhm.
model,
Mhm.
like I think is YOLO V8 the most recent?
Oh, goes
I don't know, but a
V8
YOLO
actually.
model.
Yeah, there are many variations of YOLO model, but many people have already demonstrated even the training workflow and then model uh, optimization of YOLO model and deploy on the Nano. So it can certainly be done. I mean, it depends.
Even
It depends on the variation of YOLO, but V3 or I probably need to Google a little bit. I will share the detail on Discord. But yeah, unless it is a very decent and then like inflated version, should be
yeah,
fine.
yeah, and I would say, and that's on the 4 GB or on the Orin.
Oh, 4 GB nano. So the
You
original
could
nano.
even run YOLO, probably
Right,
in most cases. For most variations of YOLO, yeah, that's
right.
great.
I'd say YOLO on just a nano is the most demonstrated sort of combination
Yeah,
by the community. So yeah, that's
that's a
you will
popular one then.
certainly find, yeah,
Okay.
enough information on that.
And then finally from Zia again, he's
Hmm.
asking, so we prefer Orin over Xavier, and it sounds like they're a similar price point, but that the Orin is a newer, higher performance chipset. Is that accurate?
Right. That's right. That's right. So Xavier featured our Volta generation GPU. So the architecture is based on Volta, but
Yeah.
Orin is Ampere. So quite new generation of the GPU. And yeah, you will get better software support even in the future. So at least I would prefer Orin.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
it almost sounds to me like the 4060 versus the 3060. They're the same price. Well, I'm getting the
yeah,
I'm getting the 4060. If I
good
run
analogy. Good analogy. Yeah, 3060 Ti versus 4060 Ti. I actually like the analogy. It's like that. It's
yeah,
really like that.
yeah,
Another benefit of All-in Nano Developer Kit is it has two camera connectors. The number of camera connectors are the same, but it actually accommodates more CSI lanes. So it can support what we call 4-lane CSI camera module. That
oh,
means more bandwidth, that means more resolution or more higher frame rate. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the Omniverse simulator, but when it goes into the wild and it goes first, camera frame rate actually matters. Or actually, you would like really want to make sure that you cut down the latency. When the photon
right.
hits your sensor to the actual actuation, the motion happening on your steering wheel, you want to cut down that latency.
Well,
So
absolutely, and that's why I kind of feel my gut feeling is that there's work in it. I got to look into what Isaac's already got. I'm often surprised, but it really seems like some Jetson emulators would be so useful to emulate that video frame rate, to emulate that latency. You
yeah,
know,
right. You will need to introduce an artificial latency
yeah.
sound.
Because I was just talking to some people about LiDAR, and one thing that we've got to do is the LiDAR data that you get back from the sensors in Omniverse is perfectly accurate. Whereas in real life, there's a bunch of noise.
Oh,
And so I was talking to them about noise functions we could use to, anyway, I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of work to be done closing that sim to real gap. Wow. Anyway, this has been so interesting. However, we are out of time. And so thanks again, Chitoku. And thanks to everyone for joining us. It's been a fascinating discussion. And I am still just really excited about this project. And I think our community is too. Um, let's reach out to we'll reach out to the Jetson group on the NVIDIA forums and invite them to our project in Discord, and hopefully some of them come out. That'd be great.
Right.
Yeah, and vice versa. If you want some help with Jetson, I think you know where to get it. You go to the NVIDIA forums and go get some help. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
All right.
Help. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everyone, thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you next week, where we'll continue talking about this really fun project.
Mm-hmm.
And so until next week, have a good one. We'll see you on
All
Discord.
right, thank you, everybody.
Oh, sorry, I've got to answer this question. Yeah, #Jetson. That is the channel on Discord where we are working on this project. Okay, sorry. So bye everyone, and Chitoku. Sorry.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a good one.